Hi, my name is Bailey Hillman. In this video, we're going to talk about sex. Yes, sex. Many people feel uncomfortable discussing this topic, but I have to tell you, it is a very important topic to discuss. So if you are a caregiver of someone living with dementia, there is a time in the disease process that you are going to have this conversation. You may have to have this conversation. It is very likely. And so I want to do a short series. I know as a caregiver, your time is very valuable and it's hard to find time to watch lengthy videos. So I want to do short series on sexuality and dementia and how to respond and what changes you might see, and give you some tips and tricks along the way. So I want to talk today about how might sexuality change with a diagnosis of dementia. So what could possibly be changes that you see? So there are four different things that we'll talk about. The first thing is that your loved one, whether it's your spouse or your grandparent or your parent, they may be more interested in sex after getting a diagnosis of dementia. So these changes are all going to occur depending on where in the brain the disease is affecting. Okay, so up here in our frontal lobe is called really our control center. Okay, it's the thing that controls how we respond or controls what we say. So we might be feeling or thinking something, but if it's inappropriate, our control center will say, no, 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 do not say that out loud. Okay, you might want to grab her breast, but no, 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 do not do that. With the disease, at times that control center can be impaired, and so then they would just act on their thoughts or their emotions instead of saying, "Oh, stop, not appropriate." Okay, so the first thing that you could see is an increase in sexuality. So they might be more interested in having sex. If you're a spouse, this may be a welcome change, right? It might be welcome that they're more interested in having sex. If you're a child and they're seeking out individuals to have sex with, this could be a problem. All right. So it depends on what situation, what scenario, but this is one way that dementia can impact sexuality. Is there might be more interest in having sex. Sometimes to the point where the spouse is not able to meet the demands. Okay, and so we will discuss in further series on my loved one wants more sex, now what? Okay, and if you're not able to meet the demands and it is just overwhelming you, I will give you tips and tricks on how to handle that situation. The second thing that you might see with dementia and sexuality is they become less interested in having sex. Again, this may be a welcomed response, okay, to the disease process. You might, say, thank goodness they're not as interested, but then it might also be something that is detrimental to your marriage. So if you're a spouse of someone and you guys are used to having that intimacy, and all of a sudden they're not interested any longer, that can really be detrimental to a marriage. Thinking about sex, it's not just about intercourse. Okay, there is a sense of intimacy and connectedness and becoming one with the act. And so it's not all about intercourse. And a lot of people forget that connection and that love between you can really be hindered if the sexual drive is not there any longer. So that is the second way. The third thing is that they actually might become physically aggressive, okay, during sex. So if they're wanting more sex, or they are not aware of your feelings, they might actually come on too strong. Okay, so they're not able to judge how strong of a reaction they're having. For example, okay, my grandpa had Parkinson's disease, and in the end, he was not able to perform as he had in the past sexually. Okay, and as a granddaughter, I ended up having to have a conversation with him about this, and it was a very uncomfortable conversation. Yes, the way that it happened, my poor mother even was even more terrified during the entire conversation, that she had to sit and listen to her dad and her daughter have a conversation about sex. But he was honestly struggling with the thought that he's not able to physically perform sexually like he used to, and he felt as if my grandmother was cheating on him. Okay, so there's that paranoia piece, plus not being able to perform due to physical changes due to the Parkinson's, the cognition he wasn't able to control. That control center wasn't there, so he was physically being aggressive toward my grandmother, trying to perform sexually. It was not pleasurable, but he was trying to do his best. And so you might be in the same situation. And my poor grandmother is just like, there's nobody to talk to about this, right? As a caregiver, you don't want to talk to your best friend about your sexual relationship with your husband, or your children. You don't want to talk about, hey, dad's doing this in the bed and I don't know what to do. That's a hard conversation to have. It's even harder a child bringing up to the parent saying, hey, is everything okay sexually for you all? And so this conversation can be incredibly difficult, but I'm telling you, it is something that all of us are going to struggle with whenever you're dealing with dementia. Okay, it is very, very likely that something, either more sex, less sex, different drives, not able to filter what they're saying, it's going to happen. Okay, it's okay to talk about. Okay, it's okay to reach out there. Find a support group. We have a wonderful support group with Everything Dementia support group. Find a support group and discuss it with them, because I'm telling you, other people have gone through the same thing. The last thing is, your individual may, again, not have a control center, so they're saying things or doing things that there's no way they would have done in the past. Okay, pinching people's butts, grabbing females' breasts, pulling out their penis and masturbating in the living room or in front of other people, peeing in places that they wouldn't typically pee. There's a lot of other sexual acts that you might see due to the dementia disease process. They could even use other tools like hairbrushes and things instead of using vibrators. So there's a whole host of conversations, and I know it's so uncomfortable to discuss. It's probably even uncomfortable for you listening to this video right now. But I'm telling you, the more you're educated about it, the more comfortable you're going to be, and the more real conversations you can have with your loved ones. So my encouragement to you is to stick around for the series. Okay, I'm going to keep it as clean and as comfortable as possible, but it's real. Okay, this is real life. And sex and intimacy with a partner and that part of our lives is an incredibly important piece of us and us being whole. And so we need to discuss it and figure out, okay, how am I going to support my loved one with dementia in their sexual needs and desires as they change due to the disease process? So please subscribe down below so you're notified of other videos that come up. If you push the bell button, the bell, it will actually give you notifications if there's new videos that we post on Everything Dementia. If you need help, please reach out to our Facebook group that I mentioned earlier, Everything Dementia Support Group. We've got wonderful people on there ready to help support you. I myself am on there giving my best tips and tricks. So please reach out for help. I know that if you're watching this video, you probably are already experiencing something, so I'm hoping that we can help you through this journey. You are not alone. See you soon.